Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're hopping into the Kid Forest, and we are taking the man, the myth, the legend that is the Pirate King Goldie Roger into the Kid Forest, and needless to say, he claps it. Straight up, he claps it. This unit, honestly, like, people were looking at him on paper and were like, yeah, he's good, but, like, is he the best unit in the game? On global, hands down, not even a question. The only unit that I think could probably rival this unit is KIDD Big Mom. And, honestly, unless you're an established player that's, like, has an established box with a lot of good rare recruits, a lot of good legends, KIDD Big Mom is 100% better, especially KIDD if there are no normal attacks. But this guy right here, he puts in work. So he's the leader of our team. As you guys know, he ignores defensive and normal attacks only. He does 1,000,000 damage to all enemies, and a minimum 2 times attack, up to 3 times, depending on how much damage your team's done in the previous turn. He completely removes Despair and extends the crew's slot boost for 1 turn after the special is launched. He's a 5 times captain after using special, 4.5 times rainbow captain other than that. And he has that amazing harking ability as well. So, just an incredible unit. So he's our leader for this particular team. We are rocking Shanks' crew on this team. Shanks is the one that triggers the super typing for Roger. He also is a 3.5 times chain lock. He's 20% HP card is kind of useless because of the normal attacks only debuff. But he also has the switch ability that gives us a 1.5 times attack boost when we switch. He also makes adjacent orbs matching, which is really strong, and it helps us out quite a bit on this particular run. Next, we have our boy Uso Hachi. Uso Hachi is a GOAT for this particular piece of content. He has defense up, damage reduction, and threshold removal. He reduces our special time by 1 turn, and he also delays for 2 turns, which is really good when we come up against Killer. Next on this team, we have Don, Krieg, and Jin. Don, Krieg, and Jin are honestly one of the best rare recruits in the entire game. I love using this unit. So they reduce paralysis and defense up by 5 turns, and they're also a 2 times attack orb booster, which is really good. So they are the orb booster for this team, but they also have the switch ability that changes their own slot into a type and gives you a 20% damage reduction. Now, that 20% damage reduction is incredibly strong. It is very similar to like the other unit on our team, Invinclay. Now, the upside to having both of these guys on the team, now their switch ability does very similar things, is it doesn't matter if one of them gets binded or blown away or anything like that. Because we have the other one on the team, we can pretty much guarantee that 20% damage reduction each turn. But the reason we have these guys on the team is their bind removal. Their bind removal is incredibly strong, and their healing mechanic, for 5 turns, we can do 13 times their recovery. And we have quite a bit of recovery candy on these guys. 711 recovery is massive. I don't know if having that so high is essential for this particular team, but it definitely helps you guys out a lot. The switch ability removes paralysis, which is pretty handy on this team, as well as reducing the damage, as you guys know. But they're also a strength and psi unit. Now, the big upside to that is when you get to the end of Kid, he is a dex unit, so we get a little bit of color affinity with these guys. And majority of this forest is built around strength and psi units. So the only thing to note in terms of supports on this team, and it's not essential, is this Markano unit. Now, we have Markano on our Shanks crew. The reason we have Markano there is because on level 5, she remove sound effects by 3 turns. Now, on a particular stage, I think it's the Hawkins stage, we actually get a remove sound effects debuff for 3 turns. So that is going to get wiped there. Now, that is not essential, but it definitely helps us out and makes life a lot easier. The final thing to note about this team is we have the Liberal Hind as our ship. Because Roger is a free spirit and a slasher, we do get the full buff. The main upside to using the ship is the special. We get 1 turn special charge reduction on our psi units. So Shanks crew, Invinclay, and the Roger units will get a reduction when we use the ship. Now, as you guys can see on this team, we do have a lot of limit break key going on. Now, whether that's essential or not, I have not run the numbers, mainly because I don't have a PC, and trying to use the damage calculator and that without a PC is really iffy. I don't know if all of this is essential, but we'll see how we go through the run, and we can sort of make an assumption there. But we do have Invin Clay, Shanks Crew, and Roger all limit break key. Everyone else is Rainbow with a lot of cotton candy, as you can see. I would try and find a friend, Roger, that is limit break keyed, just so you guys have a little bit of extra damage, especially on stuff like the KIDD stage. But I really don't think it's necessary, to be honest. Maybe on Invin Clay, but honestly, it doesn't seem like it's a big thing. So that's enough about the team. Let's hop into the run and let's see how the team performs. Alright, so here we go. We're going to bring it on, homeboy. Here we are in the KIDD Forest with the double Goldie Roger team. And once we come up against stage 11, we come up against Apu. Apu is going to slot seal our entire crew for 1 turn and gives us 1 turn of paralysis. So with the switch ability of Invin Clay, we can remove the paralysis. And with the switch ability of Shanks Crew, we can get an attack buff. And as you saw there, I just missed it perfect and kind of like cocked my whole run. Lol, jokes. Cocked my whole stage. Normally you just kill Apu there, but I didn't. It's not the end of the world though, because we can just use the switch ability of Invin Clay again, get the damage reduction, remove the paralysis, and kill him on stage on the 2nd turn. Just easy claps. Just don't hit you. Don't miss your perfect and you'll be fine. On to the next stage now. We come up against Beige, or Capone, Beige, Grotti, and is it... It's not Virgo, it's Vito. We're going to use a Roger special here. That's just going to wipe Vito and Grotti. That special, like, people saying that special, like, that 1 million damage is like nothing, but there you guys go. It's not nothing. On to the next stage now. We come up against you Rogue, and against you Rogue, we are just going to, like, use all of our specials here. He puts up 5 turns of defense up, but, like, that's not an issue because we have Don Krieg and Jin. Don Krieg and Jin are going to remove that. Now, what we're actually going to do here is we're going to use our Invin Clay special before we go into the next stage. On the next stage, we are going to stall to get all of our specials back. So we're going to use our Roger special as well. We're going to use our Don Krieg and Jin special. That we get an Orb boost, attack boost. We've got healing. Basically, our boy Rogue doesn't even stand a chance. So we are going to wipe him out. Now, the reason we use Invin Clay special here is purely for the end of turn healing. As we're going to stall on this particular stage, that healing is just going to like keep us at a nice HP pool as we make our way through this particular stage. Against this particular stage here, we versed the Fire Breather and the Bugman. Still don't know their names. Still not going to look them up. The Fire Breather has a red shield, and with the switch ability of Shanks Crew, we can actually guarantee ourselves some red orbs, and that way we can take him out easy claps. And then we're going to stall out on the Bugman here. The Bugman, as time goes on, every single turn, he's going to roll our specials back. And I think on the 3rd turn, when the barrier goes away, he is going to roll our specials all the way back to the start. He has 2 turns of an imp barrier, as the Fire Breather had 2 turns of a strength barrier. So we're just going to sort of stall our way through that. With the end of turn healing from the Invin Clay special, we can sort of just chill and sort of just farm up meat orbs on this particular stage as well. Super, super handy, that special. As, like I mentioned, we are stalling to get our specials back on this particular stage. It's not overly a worry that we don't have Invin Clay's special. So on that 3rd turn when the barrier goes, we're going to have all our specials re-roll back to the beginning. Usahachi's going to ignore that a little bit. Basically, what you want to do here is, as you can see, I'm fast forwarding this. We just want to sort of stall out all the way until our Usahachi is on a 3-turn cooldown, and just stall out for as many meat orbs as possible. So now that we've stalled out all of those turns to get Usahachi down to a 2-turn cooldown, sorry, not 3 turns, 2 turns, we can move on to the next stage. On stage 15, we come up against Killer. Killer's going to give us the normal attacks only debuff and make sure that we can only use 1 special. He puts up 5 turns of Rainbow Shield too. So this is where Usahachi is just an absolute goat. So Usahachi here basically delays him for 2 turns, which is really, really strong, as we can just take our time taking out Killer's HP pool over that 3 turns. We can use this time to sort of stall out and get our specials back. Also, something to note too, while you're stalling on the Bugman and Fireman special, or it's the Bugman, that's what we stalled on, make sure you're using the Liberal Hind as soon as you get that with your Psi units live. As you'll see here, we are going to utilize that. So you want to make sure that you have your Psi units. No, I didn't use it. Okay, well, stumped. What are you doing, mate? You want to make sure that you have your Psi units out and you use that Liberal Hind whenever you can, as that extra turn of cooldown is very, very essential. On the Big Bomb stage now, you want to make sure that your Invin Clay doesn't get binded. If it does, if they do, just reload the app, because you just want to use their special here to remove the bind, use their switch ability to make sure that you are into the Psi variation, And then we're going to use a Roger special for an attack boost. We're going to switch into the blue version of Shanks' crew. And then we can use the super typing of Roger here to give us a full board of orbs. With that, we can take out Big Mom fairly easily. What I would recommend doing here is making sure that you are Jin and the crew. As you can see, we have heaps of damage to take out Big Mom, so you don't really need those extra Psy units. But the reason you want to be Jin is so you can switch into Krieg for the red orb. We do have our orbs locked though, so being what's his name? Being Krieg isn't the end of the world. As we get into the next stage, we come up against Hawkins, X-Drake, and Page 1. They have one turn of defense up, and they don't let you use an attack booster, which is fairly annoying. So we're going to use the switchability of Shanks' crew here. Shanks' crew is going to give our red units some matching orbs, and is going to give us the attack boost when we switch. Then with Don, Krieg, and Jin special, we can move the defense up and get an orb boost, and then we can use the Shanks' crew special to give us a chain lock. Now, the attack pattern is fairly important here, as you want to attack with your Shanks crew, a yellow unit, then a red unit, then another yellow unit, a red unit, and then finish off with a red unit. That way you get heaps of damage, you can kill everyone and leave Page 1 with a little bit of HP. Page 1 every single turn is going to blow away an extra unit, up to 3 units, but we just want that one turn of extra stalling on Page 1 here. It's kind of essential, just so we can get our Invinclay special to proc a little bit earlier. So that way we can move on to the King stage after that. Now you don't want to spend too much time on Page 1 too, as he's just going to keep blowing away your crewmates, which is going to lose HP, and we want as much as that as we possibly can moving into the King stage. On the King stage, he puts up 5 turns of damage reduction, damage reduction, the Rainbow Shield, and he puts up 5 turns, is it 5 turns or 3 turns of the Threshold? 3 turns. He locks our ship for 4 turns, and he's going to make every single turn, he's going to make one of the colors unmatching. I'm pretty sure he starts with Quick, and then he goes into Int, and then Dex, and then Strength, and then Psi. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Now, the idea here is we want to burst when we have the Strength and when we have the Psi barrier, mainly because then the Threshold and the damage reduction is gone. And that's when we can start doing damage to King. So, as you can see here, he puts up the Dex barrier now. Now, we did get very, very lucky here. And we actually had a Dex orb on one of our Rogers. So, that means we can just get a little bit of extra damage on King. But it is definitely not necessary to take King out. We use the Usohachi special here, just so we can get some cooldowns on all of our unit as well. We're not going to need Usohachi for the rest of the run. So, using him whenever we see his special pop up is just going to give us basically cooldowns from here on out. As you can see, we got quite a bit of damage there, but as I mentioned, it is not essential to get those shots in. It just helps out a little bit. On the next turn, when King puts up a Strength barrier, this is where we're actually going to do majority of our burst stage. Now, I actually sort of goofed this. I do want to sort of stall out an extra turn on King, but we didn't actually do that, and it's not the end of the world. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our Goldie Roger special. That way we can get 1,000,000 damage and we can get an attack boost. And then we can use our Shanks crew switchability. Shanks crew is going to guarantee a red orb on our Usohachi there. Now, if you have Don, Krieg, and Jin and you switch into Don Krieg, you're going to get that red orb too. But as you can see here, like the Rogers just had so much damage that I wasn't ready for it. We ended up killing King on that turn. On the next turn, King will have a Psi barrier. You kind of want to stall out there as King does less damage than Kaido. But depending on how your HP looks, it's not the end of the world. Kaido does a Blast Breath every single turn, which does around 10-ish K. And that's why I sort of wanted to stall an extra turn on King there. It does around, well, let's just say 11k for the argument's sake. So what we're actually going to do here is we managed to get our Liberal Hind special back. So we are going to use that special to get some cooldowns. And then we can actually use the Invinclay special. Now, Invinclay basically just guarantees us 5 turns of free damage on Kaido. Kaido puts up 5 turns of burn, and that burn is like 25k. So don't get hit by that because you probably will die. But the idea here is we just want to sort of like wither down Kaido's health little by little with great attacks every single turn. With the super typing of our boy Goldie Roger, we can do quite a bit of damage. With the switchability of Shanks as well, we are getting a 1.5 times attack boost, which is really, really handy. So Kaido puts up 10 turns of 2 specials only, but that's fine because we only need 2 specials when we move to the final stage. So we've got our specials back here. We probably could have ended it on this particular turn right here, but I was sort of just taking my time and just sort of playing the game a little bit. Wasn't really paying attention to the hit counters. Now, the idea here is before you move into the KIDD stage, you do actually want to use the Shanks Crew special. Now, Shanks Crew is going to give us 3 turns of chain lock, which is really, really handy. So we're going to switch with Shanks Crew here, and then we're going to use our Shanks Crew special, and that's going to give us a 3.5 times chain lock. With that, we can just absolutely demolish Kaido on that final turn. And honestly, the more damage you can do on this particular turn against Kaido, the better. If you can manage to crack 3 mil, which I think that was looking at it. I'm not 100% sure. I always don't have enough time to check the numbers, but if you do crack 3 mil, you are going to get the 3 times attack boost. I love that cut in so much. It's so damn beautiful. When we come in to the KIDD stage, he gives us a full board of block orbs. Now, this normally would be an issue, but for Roger, that is not. So we are going to make sure we are all of our red units. So we're going to make sure that we are Bond Clay and Don Krieg. And then we can use the special of Roger for an attack boost, Don Krieg special for a orb boost, and then use the super typing of our other Roger to give us a full board of orbs. That way we can just absolutely devour KIDD. Not even an issue. And with that, that's going to be GG. 3.5 times chain lock, 2 times orb boost, 3 times attack boost. It's just, KIDD doesn't even stand a chance. We don't even attack with 2 of our units. It's just GG. So there you guys go. Goldie Roger, the Pirate King, getting it done. Easy clap. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to hit that like button if you want to stay up to date with more OPTC content I post. Hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. I thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Let's